Hello, welcome to my videos and my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2023 season, the Week 18, the scores, where this weekend was played the last week of the NFL 2023 regular season, and where they find the 14 teams that will fight to go to the Super Bowl and win it this next February 11 in the Super Bowl 58. So will the qualify 17th of each conference in the AFC and the NFC. And in this video, like the last 70 videos, I'm going to talk about a little bit about each game. So the this last week started this Saturday, where we have for two games. These two games was very important because it involved two teams that were fighting to enter to the playoffs. The first game was the game where my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, defeated as a away team 17-10 to the Baltimore Ravens, and with this victory and Jacksonville lost, the Steelers qualified to the playoffs. This wasn't it was a very great game. It was a board game, a defensive game, like a classic game that when they play Steelers against the Baltimore, against the Ravens. The Steelers didn't know to win this game, and they took advantage that the Baltimore Ravens qualify and clinch the number one set in the AFC, and the Steelers won this game and qualified to the playoffs. In the second game of that day, the Houston Texans defeated in a close game 2019 the Indianapolis Colts, and with this victory the Houston Texans qualified to the playoffs. And because the Jacksonville Jaguars lost, the Houston Texans won his division, the AFC South. And the next yesterday we have the rest of the games, that some games didn't have any important to play, and in other games they had a lot to play. For example, this game was very important, where the Tennessee Titans defeated 28-20 the Jacksonville Jaguars, because thanks to this game three teams were happy or celebrate because the Jacksonville Jaguars lost this game and they were eliminated. This was a very close game, where the Tennessee Titans, no, where the Jacksonville Jaguars always were trailing in the game, and they couldn't tie or win this game and qualify to the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars were leading this division, the AFC South, since November, and they had the opportunity to win this division in the first week of December, but they couldn't won it because they lost the last five games of the season, and for that reason they lost this game. They lost the leader of this division, and they were eliminated. A game that didn't have anything to fight, the Detroit Lions defeated 30-20 the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions were better team than the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions won this game 30-20. They had an easy game, and remember that the Detroit Lions had won this division 3 weeks ago, and they locked the number 3 set in the NFC, and they didn't have any to play, and they will play the next week in the wild card against the Los Angeles Rams. And in a game that the New Orleans Saints defeated and humiliated the Atlanta Falcons 48-17. The New Orleans Saints needed to win this game, and with some combination they needed that the Buccaneers lost its game against the Panthers. That didn't happen to win the NFC South. It didn't happen. And they had another opportunity to qualify. They could have qualified as a wild card, as a number 7 set in the AFC if the Packers and Seahawks lost, but it didn't happen, and the New Orleans Saints were eliminated from, even that they won this game. There was some polemic in the end of of the game, because he supposed that they were winning for a lot of points, and it looked like it was a humiliation in the end of the game. But it doesn't matter, and in the end, both teams are eliminated. Because the Atlanta Falcons lost, had a losing record 7-8, 7-10. They fired his head coach Arthur Smith in the first minutes of the day. Another game that was very war. The New York Jets defeated 73 the New England Patriots. There was nothing much to talk about here, but the most important here is not about the game, but about the New England Patriots, the head coach Bill Belichick. That it looks like that it was the last game that he coached with the New England Patriots, because it looked like that the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick part ways in the part ways with the New England Patriots, and let's see if Bill Belichick is gonna to sing with another team, or he's gonna to quit and retry. And another game, the ugliest game of the week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated 9-0 the Carolina Panthers. This game was very bored, but in the end, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did enough to win this game, and win the NFC South and qualify to the playoffs. The Tampa Bay in this game it were. There weren't any touchdown. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored 3 field goals, and they did enough to win this game and qualify to the playoffs. And another game that didn't have anything to fight, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated 31-14 the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns were qualified They qualified the last week, where they clinched the number 5 set in the AFC, and the Cincinnati Bengals were eliminated in the last week. The Cincinnati Bengals were a better team. They were winning the game 30-0 in the end of the third quarter, and in the last quarter, the Cleveland Browns scored 40 points. The only important here is the most important thing that happened here in this game was the Jack Brosney girlfriend, that she's very hot and she's very pretty. This is the only important of this game. In another game, the Green Bay Packers defeated 79 the Chicago Bears. The Green Bay Packers just needed to win this game to qualify to the playoffs. They did this. They won this game. It wasn't a very great game, but they did enough, and they qualified for the playoffs, because remember that the last year they couldn't. And this was the first year that Aaron Rodgers isn't in the playoffs. Now they qualify as a number 7 in the NFC. Another game, the Dallas Cowboys didn't have any problem to defeat the Washington Commanders, and they defeated the Washington Commanders 38-10. With this victory, the Dallas Cowboys avoid the NFC East, and with this loss, the Washington Commanders fired his head coach Ron Rivera. In another game that didn't have anything to fight, the Las Vegas Raiders defeated 27-14 the Denver Broncos. Both teams were eliminated in the last week and they didn't have anything to fight. With this victory, both teams finished with the same record, 8-9. And in another game, the New York Giants defeated 27-10 the Philadelphia Eagles. The New York Giants were leading 24-0 in the halftime against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am very surprised, because I am very surprised how bad the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing in the last month in December, because remember that enter December they have a record of 10-1, and they lost the 5 of the last 6 games that they played in December and November, and December and January. How bad they are playing, I don't think that they have the possibility to fight for the championship this year. And another game, the Seattle Seahawks defeated 21-20 the Arizona Cardinals, but they couldn't qualify to the playoffs because they needed that the Green Bay Packers lost against the the lost the Packers, so they could have qualified, but it wasn't, and Seattle Seahawks didn't qualify to the playoffs. And another game that didn't have any implication, the Los Angeles Rams defeated 31-20 San Francisco. With the San Francisco 49ers clinched the number one set in the NFC the last week, and the Los Angeles Rams qualified the last week to the playoffs. Just because the Los Angeles Rams won this game, they locked the number one set. And in another game, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated 30-12 the Los Angeles Rams. With the Kansas City Chiefs, with this victory, locked the number one set in the AFC. And in the last game of the week, the Buffalo Bills defeated 21-14 the Miami Dolphins. This was a game that had a lot of errors, but in the end the Buffalo Bills did enough to win this game 21-14, and with this victory the Buffalo Bills won the AFC's East and got the number one set, and the Miami Dolphins fell to the number 6 set. So who finished the playoffs in the AFC? The Ravens are the number one set. Number 2 are the Bills. The number 3 are the Chiefs. The number 4 are the Texans. The 5 the Browns. The 6 the Dolphins, and the 7 the Miami Steelers. So the Ravens will rest will buy in the wild card run, and the Bills will play against my Steelers. The Chiefs against the Dolphins, and the Texans against the Browns. And in the NFC, in the number one set are the 49ers, the second the Cowboys, the third the Lions, the fourth the Buccaneers, the fifth the Eagles, the sixth the Rams, and the seventh the Packers. The 49ers will buy in the next week, and the Cowboys will play against the Packers. The Lions against the Rams, and the Buccaneers against the Eagles. Tomorrow or this week, I'm gonna to give my prediction about this round. So here's one more opinion about what happened this weekend, where was played the last week of the NFL 2023 season, the week 18, and which team will play in the wild card round. See you next video. Gibran.